Hey, everybody. And by everybody, I mean the 0 people who are watching the live stream right now. That's you. It's me. It's Adam. I'm back. And as you can see, we are in the process of moving. At some point soon, you're going to see us in a brand new set. It's Comic Industry Insiders Live, a weekly download where we talk about the comic book industry. We talk about things that are happening behind the scenes. And we discuss the things that are coming up that you're going to want to know about. With me, as always, and even when I'm not here, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brian Garside. Brian.
I am here all the time. I literally just stay on standby in a window waiting for an opportunity to come onto camera. That's what I do.
Yeah, I hate to say how much I believe that. How was my week away?
Hey, it was great. It was great. It was so much fun. Yeah, we took Brover, had some good fun on this stream, had some good fun with our friend Shannon on your podcast. Yeah. Sent out an email. I had a great time.
That's right. Last week, I and the REKCAH comics crew, we all got into a van and we traveled. I was it 1,200 miles all in. This was a picture of me and Fred Van Lente on a train that we took to Baltimore, and then we took from Baltimore. We got into a van with the REKCAH Comics crew, and we drove all the way down to Florida, stopping off in many comic shops along the way. You should definitely be checking out the social media streams for Prana DM, because I'm going to be doing some store tours and talking about some stops. Overall, it was an incredible experience that I'll be talking about for a while. I'm really wonderfully impressed by that crew, and man, I'm just so excited about what the future of the future is coming. It's going to be such a good thing. And man, we saw some incredible comic shops. Like, I'm telling you, you want to really feel the strength of this industry. Go to the places that we went. I mean, retrace our steps, because we started with Third Eye, which is a revelation if you love comic shops. It is, I mean, there may be no smarter retailers working today than that crew. I mean, that Steve and Trish, they've done an amazing job of pulling together an operation that is a massive 3 stores connected to each other, plus what they call a buy store, Third Eye Buys. So I think all in it's something like 6,000 square feet. It's incredible. We missed Tommy. Oh, let's give him I know, Tommy. We ran out of time, buddy. We ran out of time. I really wanted to stop in and see you. Anyway, it was an incredible trip. And so I came back so invigorated, so excited for the future of REKCAH Comics, for the future of the future is, for the future of Prana, but really for the future of the comics direct market, because stores like that are out there doing incredible work. Yeah, and we saw some of the best. I would say the best, but we didn't get into Tommy's store, so we didn't get to Richmond Comics. So yeah.
Well, we're gonna go through your full road trip a little bit later, but I think we got to start with news, because there was so much news.
Oh man, it was so crazy keeping updated on my phone.
I wasn't even planning on talking about news this week. I was like, yeah, we'll just like briefly skim over the news, but then the world exploded again. Which I don't know how many times the world has to explode before we get it. Like
2025 is that's the theme, is the world is always exploding.
Yes. So speaking of on fire, Diamond continues to dominate the news cycle right now. There was a bunch of different stories. One of them was that Diamond's net worth continues to decline as bankruptcy goes on. So they've had another $2 million decline. And if you look at their run rate right now, I think they're running around $2 or $3 million a month. And so, yeah, their ongoing net worth of the monthly, it's kind of crazy. No. And so the part of the problem is, like, bankruptcy fees are just $1.9 million in bankruptcy fees in March alone, which was a big month. Admittedly, that was the month where the auctions and things like that took place, but still
still, I mean, once again, lawsuits and bankruptcies, the only people who get rich are the lawyers.
Mm.
They are going to get paid. And
Yeah.
boy, woo.
I've read like 2 or 3 different books on the Marvel bankruptcy. And when you read that, like the lawyers made so much money off that stuff. And the people that were left holding the bag were the shareholders who got nothing out of it. Diamond's also seeking bankruptcy protection through September 11th, which I assume is what they need to kind of wind down operations within Diamond itself, which will happen over time. You can't see the headline because, but it says the weekend Diamond bankruptcy filings and fees and questions. Yeah, so this was kind of a overview of all that stuff, but man, seeing the numbers out there, shocking. I don't know, did we talk about it last week? There was also a leak of every single Diamond customer.
No, I don't remember you guys talking about it. I did watch your show, and I know that it happened after that. So it was every single Diamond account is really the best
right.
I can look at. So it's that leak. Well, it's not a leak. It's a public release, I guess.
Filing, I think.
Was
yeah.
And it's, I mean, it's not unusable, but it's a real difficult, like many I would say that like Bleeding Cool, when he was talking about it, as here's a list of all the retailers. Well, yeah, it was a list of all the retailers, but it was also a list of all the vendors, and that includes like state tax departments who were getting paid off for things that were sold at conventions. It included everybody that had
it had me in twice.
Did you?
Twice? yeah, because it had me as part of All New Comics and then Earth 519. So yeah, it's just funny.
Is it useful? Absolutely. Will people like us be trimming pieces off of that buffalo from now on? 100%. I mean, I still have access to and really look every day. It's early lists I got of retailers when I was starting at Valiant, and also like the Marvel leak. Very famously, one of the Diamond employees leaked all of Marvel's sales and rankings of those retailers, and so that data is still out there. So we all use this data on a regular basis to do our jobs, and so we're going to be using this list forever. But I will say that it's not really a one-to-one, and it doesn't even really factor in the retailers who have since shut their Diamond accounts. Like their Diamond has never had a lower retailer count than it does right now.
True.
Because many stores have just gone over to just ordering directly from Lunar and PRH, and every other distributor they can get their hands on. So is it useful? Absolutely. It's just not quite what a lot of the people that I saw talking about. It wasn't quite that,
Yeah.
But yes,
sure.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I just I got my Diamond order this week, and it was that thick. Like,
yeah,
it was a tiny little 6 by 12 box.
And it'll probably be that way for a while, right? It's going to take months. Like September 11th, as kind of tragic as that had picking that date out of the hat.
Worst date. Yeah,
I know. But I mean, that's not an unreasonable expectation to think that they're going to go in there and take a look at everything and see the status. I mean, they've already done their due diligence. They already know. Universal was doing their due diligence back in October, November. So they know what the business they're buying is, but they don't yet really know what they don't know. Right. Yeah. So it's going to take them months to kind of get their hands on everything, then months to decide, who they need in order to do that. We saw a ton of, I don't know if you have this at your fingertips, but we saw a bunch of people announcing that they've been let go and are moving on, which is terribly sad. Although some of the people there, I'm not going to say who because we're in an open room, but some of the people there should have moved on, right? It's been time for a while for them to move on.
Yeah.
So I will say that, this is an opportunity for them to clean house, but it's also an opportunity for them to build something that's even stronger and something to decide what to do with. I can tell you that, Brian, you and I met with Angelo from Universal, and I don't know if we've actually said that in public, but that's a guy who is ready to build the direct market up.
Yep.
Right. He is really invested in the idea of bringing growth to this market. Now, I know plenty of people who disagree with him, disagree with his tactics, disagree with his positions on how things should be built. And who's to say who's right? I mean, only time will tell. But we know now that he is the person in place. And I think I don't know. It's going to be really fascinating. I think we're not done with the bombshells this year, but I think by next year we'll begin to see some growth. And I think that's a really wonderful place to be.
And like he's got a proven track record, right? Angelo from Universal, and they have done wonderful things with the card market. If you guys remember the sports card market a few years ago, it was nothing, right? Like it was dead. And the way that the card industry has revitalized itself, and I didn't really know that until this year at Comics Pro when I was listening to the Upper Deck presentation. And to me, Upper Deck is like 1990s, like death of cards, right? And like you listen to how they've literally physically transformed stores and required them to have better lighting and required them to do better marketing. Like that's awesome. And more, I think that can only be better for the entire industry. So having some of those requirements for comic stores, I mean, it's going to cause certain stores to not participate in those distributors, and that's okay, right? Like that's okay. If you don't want to play that game, you don't have to. But at the same time, I think that we need to level up the entire industry. And I've been saying that, like, this is a consistent thing I have said in public since 2020, because I just found a video of me talking to Dan Shaheen where I said in 2020, if you are not on the internet in 2020 as a comic store with your products online, you are already dead. You just don't know it. That was 5 years ago. You've now been a zombie for 5 years. Like, So
also, what I think is going to be really interesting is if you look at what happened in the card market, not only were they enforcing, minimum standards for the retail stores themselves, but they were enforcing a minimum advertised price, right? A map.
Yeah.
What is that going to mean? That's the part could lead to an actual distribution war, right? That's the thing that could spark things going, because their biggest, I think, there's three competitors now in the field. There's Universal, or Ad Populum, however that ends up being. If they end up calling it Diamond, I don't think they will, but who knows what they end up calling it. There's that entity. There's Penguin Random House, which has zero problem living under those rules in other markets. They're going to change as the industry changes. And there's Lunar Distribution. Lunar is, I have no doubt they're going to do their best to both be part of that conversation, but also we cannot reduce the potential for conflict, considering that they also own Discount Comic Book Service. Yeah. That is going to be an interesting thing to see how that plays out.
Same goes for Midtown, right?
Looking for minimum advertised price. On the others, you have people that are retailing at a discount.
Yep.
Right. How does Midtown flex on that?
Yeah.
We're about to see something really interesting in this market. So,
for sure.
And once again, coming to a live show once a week where we talk about it and talk to experts. Really wonderful investment in your time.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about Stronghold's questions here. I really want to understand what it means with Ad Populum shutting down divisions they just bought. Are we still going to get Gentle Giant and Diamond Select toys just from NECA now?
Maybe those are brands, right? Those are brands that were, for the most part, building licenses. So it's a question of whether or not those licenses stay underneath those brands, right? Are Gentle Giant licenses going to be done by that, or are they going to be done by NECA? That's really kind of for them to decide,
right?
Or can they? I don't know how those contracts are written, but if they own it, I imagine they're more likely to do that. Maybe Diamond Select Toys is a brand that they decide it has enough value that they're going to keep it and continue to make that style of toy. I don't know. I don't think we know yet really what their plans are. So, yeah, we won't until they announce it. Really, there's gonna be some conversation there.
Yeah, absolutely. Another story was the future of the Diamond Previews catalog. A lot of the images aren't working on this site because I had to turn off JavaScript on the site because it was literally crashing my computer. Yeah. So yeah, so the previews catalog is up in arms now. The I forget his name, the main dude who has been basically
Marty.
Yeah, he's still
Marty
there. But a bunch of other folks were let go. So yeah, he said that the July one is being constructed now. So that's the one for next month. The June one is already done and in the bag, and it will be posted like this week. So this will be interesting to see what happens going forward past July.
Yeah, I hope that if it does stick around, that it adjusts. Right, I think it should change. It has remained relatively the same for decades, and I just cannot imagine that it would. If I were coming in, one of the first things I would, kill and then rebuild would be Previews Magazine.
For sure.
Because at this point, it is just a promotional tool. I would say that if you went in and made it an editorial tool, if you built something that people want to read, and it happened to also be promoting all of your clients, that's something worth defending. That's something worth building.
And you could do that in 64 pages, not in 360 or whatever it is right now. It's
100%.
Insane. And so my 2 Diamond orders ago and next week's order, I'll probably get 3 large Diamond boxes, and half of those are going to be Previews Magazine. Like that's insane. And the amount it costs me to ship that stupid thing, I hate it. I know I'm in the minority here, but man, I hate that magazine.
No, you're not in the minority. I will say that one of my first conflicts with anybody at Diamond was when I was a retailer, and I didn't understand why I had to buy it for myself.
Right.
I understood why I had to buy it as a promotional item to give away to customers, but why did I have to buy? It was a tool I needed, and then at the time you weren't even able to get that information online.
No,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, I will say that there have been real problems with that forever and ever. And the industry's secret is that Previews Magazine was really a way for Diamond to give value to the publisher.
For sure.
If you sign up exclusively with Diamond, you're going to get this many ads for free in a Previews Magazine, right? It's that. So yeah, yes. Who owes the Wizard brand? I think I wonder if that is. I imagine that it's probably still owned by those brothers. My guess. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There's been a whole lot of talk about Wizard Magazine. Have you checked out Zdarsky Comic News lately?
There you go, Zdarsky Comic News.
That's right.
It's up 64 pages. It might be the previews of.
It was. If we ever get past 16, we'll get there. But we have to get Chip allowing somebody else to write it. So, yes. Exactly. The brand managers were very much involved in the editorial, and I think there really should be an editorial department there. As somebody who was involved with a project that was the last time that Previews Magazine sold out, when we put a surprise 2-page exclusive comic inside of Previews at Bad Idea, I can tell you that we are that if you do make it editorially, what's the word I'm looking for? Relevant. Then people show up, right? It can be done. And then suddenly that advertising has value. While we're talking about advertising, have you considered advertising on Zdarsky Comic News? Drop me a line at info@pranadm.com and we'll get you started. All right, good. Yep. You know why? Because ZCN is the new Wizard. You goddamn right, Jason.
Very much is. Very much is. Okay. So I don't fully understand this one. I haven't fully read it, but apparently the U.S. courts are withdrawing the bankruptcy threat for Diamond Comics. There was a story a couple of weeks ago where they could move Diamond out of bankruptcy, which would have made them vulnerable to all their creditors. But this has apparently been canceled because they are filing the proper paperwork. But I don't understand this, so I don't want to talk a lot about it. What
I
I
don't
do
either.
want
I mean, it seems pretty obvious though that the threat of Chapter 7 was you still have to do this shit. Even though you think you have a buyer, you still have to do the paperwork.
100%.
And and now they're saying, well, you have a buyer. Don't worry about it.
So my inbox kind of blew up yesterday when
I bet.
this story came out. This arrived on a couple of retailer forums, and then there was, I don't know, I kept on getting the same thing forwarded to me by multiple retailers. So basically, a email went out yesterday where Comic Suite said, as we transition to new ownership, we know our retail partners have questions about RMH. So basically, what they're saying is, everything is going to be extended free of charge until July 31st, 2025. They've basically committed to having everything alive until July 31st. They're also saying, though, for the time being, Comic Suite data and servers are operating as usual. That means you can continue importing order forms and placing orders as usual. There may be some publishers whose data. We actually, this week, will have a posts on our website about some of this stuff that we've discovered kind of behind the scenes, including how you can use our data to import things into Comic Suite. So we're working on a little tool right now that will help.
Oh, that's great.
Geek Fetch data to import things into Comic Suite. Yeah. Because we want to help stores, and the worst possible thing would be having people jump immediately from Comic Suite into a system that they're not comfortable with. I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that support headache, and I don't want that bad kind of first impression. So we want to help folks with Comic Suite as much as we can.
That's good, because I'm hearing, was it Mad Cave? I think the data was not in there. And I mean, I don't know where I heard this, if it was just a rumor, if it was part of the releases, but apparently all of the support team was laid off.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't a lot. Like, there were only 3 or 4 people left. So that doesn't surprise me. So I think what's probably happened, and I have no insider information on this, but what has most likely happened is that the data team has just absorbed the remaining support requests. And there has to still be a data team because they still have data going through. And I know I've heard from people inside of Diamond, there are still people managing the data. So data or data? Data.
You have your own title. What do you call it? Is it Data Bros or Data Bros? What is it?
I call it Data Bros, but Django always says it's Data Bros. And half the time. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Tommy. Yes. Yeah, we do care. And Django and I had a bunch of conversations yesterday about this, and we've actually talked about teaming up and doing some stuff to help Comic Suite people over the hump, because neither one of us want to bring on 200 stores and just deal with that. It's going to be a nightmare. So as much as we can help, we will.
I will say, the POS. I mean, you're not going to say this, so I will say it. I feel the same way about POS data, POS service, that I do about publishers who have refused to make arrangements outside of Diamond.
Yeah.
And retailers who have refused to set up accounts at other distributors because of whatever political views or the way things should be or whatever. I feel the same way about all of you. You have made choices that are not good business choices, right? They are choices that are not going to be the choices of a business that survives. And if you want to be a business that survives, it's time to start making better choices. It's time to start being proactive. And it's time to bring an adorable dog in on the screen. Hey, buddy.
Oh, Millie. How are you, bud? That's Millie.
All right. So what's next?
Let's talk your road trip. Let's go through your road trip a little bit.
Boy, it is a blur. It's a blur. I will tell you. So REKCAH Comics. In fact, I have the first issue right here. Look at this. Look at this beauty. out in stores. The future is #1 is going to be in stores on May 28th. And we, in order to kind of get some buzz ahead, kind of give everybody what's going on, we went out to on an East Coast tour from Baltimore all the way down to Orlando, with a stop in Tampa as well. And we were selling this book. We were signing the book. We were doing a lot of events. I think we visited something like 6 different stores, 7 stops along the way. Easily some of the best and brightest. We stopped at, let me see if I can remember it all in turn. It was Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, one of their 6 locations. And I've talked a bit about them already. Then we stopped at, oh boy, Hello Comics. Yes, thank you. Hello Comics, just outside of it's in Virginia. Then that night we were at Ultimate Comics in Cary, North Carolina. The next day we stopped off in Neighborhood Comics in Savannah, Georgia.
Lee Heidel.
That's right. Lee is, oh my gosh, have you been in that store?
I've not, and that's like, yeah, that is on my list.
I got a video tour of that I think we're just going to drop as an episode of CII in the next couple weeks. We're going to drop that and a tour of Blackbird, 2 incredible locations.
Yeah, Blackbird.
But the thing about Lee's store is, like, it is one of those places that is it cannot be 1,000 square feet. It's maybe 900 square feet total.
Right.
And I was having a hard time thinking of an important comic that I couldn't find.
Wow.
Right. Not only that, but around every corner was something that was really interesting. Like, it was such a beautifully laid out store. And Lee is obviously super passionate about comics and the comics community there. They do a right up front. They have this like a artist in residence. So they have people making comics right there for, as you come in. Anyway, incredible store. I want to talk about the other locations that we did sign at, but that was just a quick stop off. Then we went down to Tampa to what's called B-Sides, which is this incredible sort of community organized conventions that the cybersecurity community puts together. And it's legitimately these community based conferences where they build programming to build each other up. In comics, we have so much to learn from the cybersecurity community. They do an incredible job of putting things together and supporting each other and teaching each other. And if I have one goal coming out of this trip, it's that Prana can help with that, to bring that sort of ethos to comics. So all of these locations, look at this. This is all community organized. Each and every one of these is a community organized event.
Unbelievable. This is just
what I'm saying.
December and November of 2025. Like, holy moly.
And the one I was at, it was 3,000 people.
That's insane.
This is what I'm saying.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. So, so we stopped off at B-Sides, and we stopped at, and then we ended at Blackbird in Orlando, or in Maitland, Florida. And then that night we had a concert at Conduit where we talked about where we played the original soundtrack live. I have so many big takeaways, so many lessons I learned, but just a quick rundown. Third Eye, fucking brilliant store. You got to go to Third Eye Annapolis if you ever want to put together a comic shop that is going to be future proof. This is what it looks like. That's Bo there. I mean, seriously, this guy was incredible. And one of the best hackers in the world.
That's amazing.
Legitimately. Apparently he is one of the leaders in hacking cell phone data. So he knows what's coming. By the way, they told me about what 6G is going to do, and I'm terrified. Anyway, so Third Eye, an incredible store. Hello Comics, one of my favorite neighborhood stores ever. They did a fantastic, beautiful job Kate, who is now on the board of directors for Comics Pro and leading up local comic shop day. She is just an, inveterate host. We walked in, I thought I was going to get them to do a tour, but they were already being interviewed. Like there was already a camera set up, like a beautiful, gorgeous store. Spent too much money there. Then Ultimate Comics carry brand new location for them. Big, clean, bright, like lots of great data, lots of great inventory. And I will tell you, the staff at Ultimate Comics always blows me away. Alan Gill, the owner there, he does such a great job of hiring in people and empowering them, and they're wonderful. Right. And then let's see, then we stopped Ultimate. Then it was Neighborhood. I already talked about them. Then Blackbird Comics. Gorgeous store. I've never wanted to live in a community more than when I go to Blackbird. If you were going to move because of a store, it might be that one, because it just feels like home. Like when you walk in there, people are obviously comfortable being who they are, and it's like in the middle third of this location is a coffee shop where people are hanging out and playing games, and it's just wonderful. Just it's a moving experience seeing comics in that sort of environment. Anyway, all of this to say, I want to finish all this by answering Jason's question.
Yeah, for sure.
The excitement for the book was palpable. I will tell you that we kept track of the cybersecurity folks that were out for the signing. And it was some events, it was like 60-40. Some it was 70-30. Wow. Some it was comics were like 65-35. We had tons of people who were just excited about the comic outside of the cybersecurity idea of it. Some of them were just chomping at the bit for this. We went to the B-sides, and I will tell you, I got back into my old free comics mode. If you ever saw me do that at a convention, and was out like hawking to get people to the booth, and I would tell them 3 things that would give them 100% of the time they would come and get. For them, it was a free comic, but it meant that they had to stop and give their attention. And I told them 3 things. I told them it was a non-shitty cybersecurity comic that laugh always makes them stop. I told them about it was chock full of Capture the Flag or CTFs. They all know what CTFs are, and that caught them. But sometimes that wouldn't do it. And then I told them it's going to be in comic shops monthly.
Nice.
It was the 3rd one that closed the deal for them. Why? Because it gave it legitimacy, and it gave them as a way to come back and get more. So cybersecurity fans are going to be out there forever. We're going to be pushing to them for the next 5 years. So they're going to keep coming back into the shops and keep pushing this out. So I will say that and all of the responses that we've gotten on LinkedIn, which is really their primary social media platform, have been just raving. Like people reading basically their first comic and absolutely loving it and going in and doing subscriptions. So
that's awesome.
And the stores, I cannot tell you, not a bad word was spoken. I think there's some genuine excitement and people showing up for this book. So May 28th, go to your local comic shop. And if you haven't already, subscribe to The Future Is by Fred Van Lente, and first artist is Ennio Buffi. And we got this incredible Jay Lee cover. It's gonna be a good time. So
that's amazing.
There you go.
If your store uses Managed Comics, you can go right to their store, like Stronghold Collectibles, and you can subscribe right from this page. And you'll even see an 11-page preview of the first issue, which we created specifically for this. We created that technology just for this story. And when you read it, Adam, open up to my ad.
What's
Do you
that?
have my ad? Do you have my ad in the issue? I haven't even seen it.
Oh, yeah, I do. Hold on.
Gotta see. So there was a lot of
advertiser.
There was a lot of drama. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Love it.
Am I getting that right? Am I getting that right?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. So you'll find the ad, and we've done a customer kind of facing thing, and then we've done a stores facing thing. So if you're a customer, and you'll get a prompt to tell us about your store and tell us that they should use Managed Comics, and we'll reach out to them. And if you're a customer and you fill that thing out, you're going to get an exclusive Subscribotron only for you. So Craig is going to draw individual exclusive Subscribotrons and manually email them to people. So I want to send 100 of those out. Let's see if we can get 100.
I love that. I love that so much. I want my own Subscribotron. That's
well,
awesome.
You just fill it out, and he'll
right.
he'll go ahead and send it. Awesome. Let us talk a little bit about blind bags. So there was a lot of blind bag drama this last couple of weeks.
I know.
And it was so much fun. Somewhere. Do you have one?
I might. Give me a second. Here, you talk for a minute. I'm gonna
for sure. So Image did a blind bag program, and retailers chime in and let us know how this did in your store. Image did a blind bag program for Battle Beast #1, where they produced these blind bags, and inside of them were some non-Battle Beast #1 comics, as well as everything up to the 1 in 2000. And I haven't heard too many people, like, I'd be interested to know who found what, like who found the 1 in 2000, who found the 1 in 1000. Were there signed ones that we're not aware of? Things like that. There was a signed and CGC created foil cover, which, how do you even put that into it? So this is interesting to me. There were also 3 secret comics that were added at the very last minute. So there was a foil covered Invincible #19.
I got one of those.
Covered, me too. That's awesome. Foil covered issue #2, and a foil covered copy of Marvel Team Up #14, which is super rare and hard to find. Volume 3, I believe, of Marvel Team Up. So yeah, if you opened up these blind bags, you could get anything that was in this list. My son Max and I opened up 4 between the two of us. We got a Invincible 19, a Battle Beast #2, a cover D, and a cover B. I think that was our total haul, which, I mean, all those things were great. So yeah, that was very popular, Christina says.
Yeah. Kyle, what are you talking about, buddy? Today's polybag news? I don't know what we're discussing there. I've been legitimately digging myself out.
So the news came out, or the email went out today. Starting on Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, fans can pick up a special polybagged edition of Adventure Comics 210 Facsimile Edition. Whoever wrote that needs to go to English class, for their chance of discovering Crypto's Golden Biscuit only in comic stores. Adventure Comics 210 Facsimile Edition is a final order cutoff of May 26th and will be available to retailers at net yada yada yada.
Fucking golden tickets, man. It's the one thing every marketer wants to try and figure out, is how to Willy Wonka. Yeah.
The first comment was, I guarantee you DC's meeting this week started with, hey, did you hear about Battle Beasts?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, and I think we're also, go ahead.
Yeah, then on top of that, they managed to take over eBay and did exclusive Battle Beast comic trading packs, which was insane as well. So that night there were like tons and tons of channels giving away these packs, which I don't quite know how they worked, but I think they were like, the stores were provided with these bags, and then they could add whatever they wanted to them, and then seal them up and sell them that way, which was a really cool thing that happened on eBay.
I saw Sean Kirkham posting a video of sealing those bags, like with a sealer.
Yeah.
So
I saw you posted that.
Yeah.
Very, very clever, like, kind of ways of taking over multiple channels at once, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. And as of last week, new Prana client, Gary Vaynerchuk's VFriends, they've been doing these kind of exclusive drops of different, trading cards and a bunch of stuff. They did an exclusive drop of a mini comic, an issue #1 mini comic that was also blind bagged. And it was, I think they sold 1,000 of them in 19 seconds.
That's amazing.
So yes, we're going to see this the writing was on the wall the minute that those Jason, we're going to see it. I mean, this is going to be used. Now, I will tell you that there is a certain economy of scale. You have to sell a certain number of these in order for the economies of it to work. Otherwise, you're going to have a real hard time getting people to commit to buying them. But when you're doing Battle Beast and you're going to do a huge release on it, I mean, you can do things like this, right? This is a die cut, over cover, but on a self cover book, right? Which is the cheapest way that you can do a comic. But then they did this die cut over cover that staples on there. You can do that kind of stuff when you are doing 100,000 units.
400,000 in this case.
Yes, exactly.
400,000.
500,000 units. You can start doing that stuff, which is why that stuff was so popular back in the 90s, because they were doing these huge runs. So maybe if we start to see these huge runs, we're going to see a boom like that. It's starting to feel that way to me. I mean, many of the indicators I'm seeing we're getting real close to a 92, 93 style boom. And I mean, listen, we're all smarter now. We'll be fine. We'll handle it, Brian. We'll be fine.
I did not particularly enjoy the 94 style bust.
Well, but plenty of great shit came out of 94 to 98, right? That period was an incredible, artistically was an incredibly rich period. So I feel confident we're going to be, we're going to go through seasons. We're always going to go through seasons.
Yeah.
Right now, I will say that one of the conversations with Steve Anderson over dinner was him talking about the difference between a collectibles market and like, a more of a reader market. He used a different word, not culture market. I don't remember. Anyway, like he said, we're very much in that sort of reader market right now, where you have to create good story in order for the marketing to make sense. But all these seasons go well in and out. So yeah, it's true, Tommy. There's some amazing books. I will tell you, this easily one of the best pitches I've read in a while. Right?
Yep.
That's such a simple idea that right there. Right?
Yep.
It absolutely works. So I will tell you, it's. I think we're in a good spot. I think we're at it's a good time to be producing comics.
Yep.
So.
Blood and Thunder was a lot of fun too. And we're going to talk about that in the bundles segment right now.
Let's do
that. DC Image and a couple more, I think, have been doing these bundles. Images I really like Images because they're 10 comics for $5. And you have to hit like a minimum threshold to hit that. But once you do, you can order unlimited bundles for $5 each. So with Blood and Thunder, I think I grabbed another 30 of them on top of the initial whatever I needed. And DC I've been doing with the absolute titles, the first issues, second issues, and often the third issues too will qualify for, except for Supergirl #1. They did a second printing of an absolute Batman comic that had come out, which I had already bought so many of the third printing that I didn't need, so that was the only one I haven't qualified for recently. But I've been buying these things because, one, your per unit cost gets down so low that you can practically give them away. And in a few cases, I have given them away. With Feral and their bundles, I gave away I think it was the 11th issue if you bought the first or second trade. And that went really well. I increased my Feral numbers by, I think it went up 5 new subs. So amortize 5 times 12, and like this pays for itself, right? So I've really enjoyed this bundle stuff.
I'm curious to know, one of the things that we're talking about, one of the things that we're talking about on the publishing side is these bundles, and how do they affect you as retailers? Not, you and I discussed this privately. Maybe we can talk about it here. Part of the struggle in being a publisher is the cheapest question you can answer is, when do you turn off the printing press, right? Mm-hmm. The most expensive question is, when do you start it, right? Because you as Fred Pierce, the man I used to work with, would love to say the first issue costs $50,000, the second issue costs 30 cents, right?
Right.
So, and if you're printing enough, that's true. Still, But so my question, so bundles make a lot of sense, right, as a promotion if they will increase sales. But part of the problem has been for comic book retailers that if you overship them, which is a bundle kind of is, right?
We'll
It's
talk
an
about that too.
incentivized
Yeah.
overship. If you overship them, you end up with more inventory on the shelf. And the concern is always that the stores will look at what's on the shelf and assume that it's just not selling because they have too much inventory. How do you think about this? Obviously, a POS system is going to change that perception, but oftentimes those things are emotional and not intellectual, right?
Yeah, 100%. I will give two specific examples. So Laura Kinney Wolverine #2, Marvel overshipped, and I got an extra 20 copies of it. Absolute Flash #2, I bought 2 bundles of 20, which gave me an extra 40. On top of, I think I probably had to order 28 to qualify. So I had 68 of that. I have 18 Laura Kinney Wolverine #2s. I have maybe less than 20 Absolute Flash #2s, which I could sell very quickly if I were to actually add them back to my website, because I only add X number on the website at a time. Just to kind of, I literally store the overages in a totally different place because I just don't have the space to keep them all together. So for me, the Laura Kinney Wolverines, and there was another thing they gave me an extra 10 of. I want to say it was like Avengers 25 or something. I got an extra 5 or 10 copies of. I'm not going to hand sell that because I don't know what to do with a #2 of a book that I didn't get enough #1s to fulfill the #2. So I'm not as big a fan of an overship as I am of me actively deciding I want to participate in that thing. If the overship was based on what my numbers of #1 were, maybe it would make more sense, or what my numbers of the previous issue were. But yeah, it seems to be kind of random.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it is a fascinating thing. So, but do you feel any sort of like when you see extra copies of something that you bought bundles of, does that diminish your value of that as a retailer? Are you more or less inclined to commit to later, like to becoming aggressive on that title?
Well, for me, the aggression that I can show on that first issue is directly proportionate to the aggression that will happen with the subsequent ones. So for example, on Absolute Flash, I sold it at cost ×2. So my cost on that ended up being like $2 per copy, Canadian, remember. So I sold them for $4. And usually a DC comic at $4.99 will sell for, I want to say like $6.50 or $7 Canadian.
So that's like what, 75 cents American, right?
Yeah,
so,
about that. Yeah,
okay,
no, it's like $4.99 American. It works out to $6.50 Canadian. So I was selling those to my subs much cheaper, and I had a lot more people take it because it was a lower risk for them. And then that meant that they bought #2. There was also a bundle on #2, so my per issue cost was lower on #2 and beyond as well. But I shouldn't say this out loud. I didn't pass those savings on. I only passed the first issue savings on. Because my intention is to get them hooked on the first issue. The problem with my business model is we only ship once a month for most people. So I have to take a spec on the first 2 issues, which kind of sucks. And I've got to figure that out at some point. But yeah, like for me, it reduces my risk, and it also reduces my losses, I guess is what I'm saying. And it also gives me the ability to really, really push that. So I pushed the heck out of all the first issues of the Absolutes. I pushed the heck out of Blood and Thunder. I also pushed the heck out of Battle Beast, and I think that one's going to pay back because people are going to like that. I mean, the art is beautiful. Story was fun. Yeah, it's a no-brainer when the stuff is good, right?
Well, as somebody who works in publishing, I can say I love this idea of of bundles because it solves so many problems.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest challenge for any publisher is finding a new audience, and the hardest part is that retailers are less and less inclined to risk. So having copies on the shelf is harder and harder and harder. This mitigates that.
Yeah.
Distributors have a limited amount of bandwidth. They have a limited number of SKUs that they can ship out. If I can sell you a bundle, Nikki, if you're out there listening, I know you are. You're the one who's usually reminding me about this time to tell them to like, subscribe, and hit the alert button so that when we go live, you know about it. But Nikki, I imagine one of the struggles they have to be having is the number of covers that they do. If those covers came in a bundle, if you were getting one of each of 20, but you were paying for the whole thing as a bundle, that would mitigate that, right? So I would say that there's a lot of problems that bundles solve on the publishing side and a lot that they solve on the retail side, and all of which goes to consumers. So I'm all for it. I think it's a wonderful tool. I wish I knew who invented it. So,
yeah.
For publishing, for comics publishing. I mean, it's an obvious thing, but yeah.
I think it may have been DC. Like they've been doing it for quite a while. And I think that they may be kind of one of the pushers of it. And they've done a really good job of like the calculations. So you have to hit certain thresholds in order to get them. And those, like for Batman 158, it was your numbers for absolute Batman #1, which in my case was like 110 copies. And there was just no way we were going to go from like 60 or 70 Batmans to 110. So I didn't bother with Batman 158. But with a lot of them where it's like, with Martian Manhunter, I want to say it was like 28 copies I had to hit. So I did that no problem, and then bought 2 bundles of #1 because I saw the previews of it and just loved it. And yeah, it was absolutely the right call.
Wonderful. I love it.
We'll talk in a month about whether or not my call with Absolute or with Superman Unlimited this week was right, because I have 50 copies sitting there that I don't know if I'll ever sell. We'll see. Let's see.
Publishers and fans, if you're watching this, one of the things I'd love to hear from you is, what are your favorites, right? Publishers, retailers, fans, all of you. What are your favorite promotions? What are the things that we should be bringing back? Have you ever wondered why somebody doesn't do X? Mm-hmm. Well, we would love to hear that in the comments. We can absolutely, even if you're watching this recorded, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Brian, what else? Did we have anything else in the rundown?
That's kind of it, but I do have one question for you, which is, can we talk about what you guys did on the EXP a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Producer Kyle, I've had enough things running around in my head for the last week that I know if I try and give a rundown, I'm going to lose it. I know that you were involved in that. Are you around? Can you jump in?
What'd I do?
Producer Kyle.
I was eating Skittles. What?
Well, you talk about the REKCAH, the Future Is program that we did with the EXP in the last week or so.
So, talking with Adam about the Future Is and with some of the things we're doing on the EXP, we did a cross promotion where they sent us a bunch of the hardcovers, and what we decided to do was sell them exclusively on our streaming live sales last week. So they weren't available, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but they weren't available anywhere else unless somebody got a copy of this from Kickstarter or from Comics Pro, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few other people we've sent out review copies to. There are a lot of review copies, but nobody else had inventory.
Right. We were the only people with availability for stock.
Yep.
And so we did these exclusively on our air. I read the book. Monday afternoon, I interviewed Fred Van Lente and Joe Keating. We talked about it, and then it went live in the very next show with our friends at Dynamic Forces, selling it on their show. On average, every show sold 2. Every show that had them sold 2. That is on average. That's not how it actually went, because Miss Jen decided to do a Silver Age sale, and let's be honest, this is not Silver Age. So, So I wound up, and I told Adam this before the show. I did a live sale this weekend where this was the only reason my live sale was successful.
Wow.
Now I did that in part because of the CTF, right? Like, as a computer nerd, as a hacker, as someone who prides themselves on their computer savviness, I challenged our viewers to beat me in the CTF. And so
Fun.
we're going to have a leaderboard. People are going to give me their scores. And if they beat me, I'm going to give out prizes. Like, that's how we're going to do this. So, but the whole idea of getting on board and kind of last week plugging the hardcover exclusively on our air. Now this week, the people who have it are offering it anywhere they sell comics. So if they have a retail store, they can offer it in their retail store. If they're on Whatnot, they can offer it on Whatnot. If they're on eBay Live, they can offer it on eBay Live. And they're reporting back their sales data to me, which is great, because then I can talk to these guys and like report back for the things they do with numbers that make my head spin. But
awesome.
What's been really fun about it is talking to our customers who, again, their local comic shop is a YouTube show. Really, a lot of our customers, Lyle, who was here earlier, like, the dude lives in the Arctic Circle. There is no comic shop in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
So he comes to us, and giving him an opportunity to pick up a book ahead of time and go, hey, look, you're going to want this one because it's the hardcover and it's got all the hardcover stuff. But also there's a Jay Lee coming in 2 weeks that you could pick up that's very similar, but you're going to want to pick it up too. And then, cover 2. And then, oh, hey, by the way, just so you know, cover 3 is Rob Guillory. And being able to play it all out, and they hear it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like 6 different shows with the similar or same pitch.
Yeah.
Talking about the same book. Especially on our air, the hype for this is real. And a lot of it is just to make me look bad, and I love it. Because I will tell you, the best marketing I ever did in my local comic store is there was a book called Beardo Comics. I went to C2E2 and I had mutton chops. And I let the guy from Beardo Comics draw the beard on my face in Sharpie to announce that we were going to be the one comic store in the country that had Beardo Comics.
That's great.
Well, I sold out before I got home from C2E2.
I have no doubt.
If you can throw yourself into the wolf's den to sell a book, your customers will buy it.
Absolutely. And I think that comes to me, Kyle. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. When it comes is really in this day and age, we're going to have to find new ways, right? The old ways aren't working. If you're just checking the boxes of putting your books into previews, and if you're just ordering from one supplier, and if you are just trying to make it as simple as possible so that you don't have to think about it, you're going to get left behind. Working with places like the XP, doing the tours, working with outside organizations like we're doing for REKCAH, like having those paths to market is essential. It's no longer just part of the fun. And any retailer out there who wants to be involved in this, please feel free to reach out. Bring us to ideas, because we definitely want to be. We need your creativity, and we need your feedback, but we also really just want to be feeding you as well, sending customers your way.
Yeah,
Brian, we ran out of hour, buddy. How did we do that?
It's amazing. I love it. It's awesome. I've got a little something to talk about. So
Please.
This Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we will be doing a webinar. So we're going to do these every week for the next couple of weeks, just so that we can answer everybody's questions. I had to close down my calendar because it was getting out of control. So this will be like an hour that we can talk about managed comics. We can talk about Comic Suite. We can talk about how we can help you move. And we'll most importantly talk about the things that you need to do, whether you are going to move to managed comics or not, to clean up your data, to maintain your data, and to get yourself ready for what's next after Comic Suite. So whether you decide to move on with us or not, there's a bunch of hygiene that you definitely need to take care of, and we'll talk about that. And like, I'm happy to help other systems take you on and have less of a headache, because it's going to make your life better. So yeah, 100%. Come check this out. May 5th, we're going to do a 1-hour live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about this. We've got special guests coming on. We're going to announce some extra partnerships that we're working on. This is going to be really, really fun. So yeah, you can sign up to all those on managecomics.com/webinar right now.
Awesome.
I didn't add it to stage. I was talking about this great webpage and didn't add it to the stage the entire time.
It's okay, buddy. It's not as though we need you to be good at technology. It's totally fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Well,
It's fine.
Thank you all for joining us once again. Next week, I won't have next week I'll probably still have a bunch of boxes. We'll see. It's going to be a little while. Ever get moved? Moving sucks. But I won't have just gotten home from a tour. So we're going to have ourselves together a little better. Once again, my name is Adam Freeman. This is Brian Garside. This has been Comic Industry Insiders Live, and I want to thank you guys for spending your last hour with us. We look forward to seeing you next week and everywhere else on the internets. So, namaste, y'all. That was not my best dismount.
It was good. It was solid.